So let's finish. Let's start with verse 3 again. I'm going to read 3 through 6 entirely, no commentary this time, and then I'll finish up at the end. He exists as the brightness of God's glory and an imprint of God's spirit being, and he brings forth or carries all things with his word of power. He makes sinners clean, after which he sat down next to the right hand of the greatness in high places. Remember what Jesus told the high priest in Mark? You will see the Son of Man coming with the clouds of heaven and at the right hand of power. So, I know I added a little comment there, but I just started to think about that account with Jesus there. So this is something he taught, everyone knew. He was at the right hand of God. Verse 4, he became so much better than the angels, better in the sense that he has inherited a name that is different or more excellent from them. For to which of the angels did he ever say, he's talking about God, you are my son, today, I have generated you. And again, I will become as a father to him, and he will become as a son to me. But whenever he again introduces the firstborn into the inhabited world, he says, all angels of God must bow in royal homage to him. And of course, that last part there, royal homage to him, is a well-known Greek term, or proskuneo, which involves bowing down or low before a person, either in a worshipful sense, like with God, or in the sense that was very frequently given to kings and others in the Hebrew scriptures to show their submission to that person, usually a royal figure, just like Jesus. So it in no way compromises Jah's worship. It is a term used for other humans frequently, as I'll put a link in the description below to an article I wrote about the word proskuneo and its applications in the Bible. But you get Trinitarians and others who completely ignore all of that, claiming that this somehow proves he's God, when we already know, according to Philippians 2, that every knee will bow and every tongue acknowledge Jesus is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Could you imagine God the Father having every knee bow to him and acknowledge him as the Father or Lord, to the glory of someone else? Jesus is not Jah. He is only Jah in the sense that he absolutely does everything Jah does, and he's a spirit being who was made by Jah. And so he exactly represents him both in his teaching and in his person and in the brightness of his glory, being the imprint of God's very being. But that's not God. God is not an imprint of another person's being. He doesn't need to be. He's eternal. He's the life that gave life to life and therefore must always exist. And he even says, Jesus says, that life gave life to him. John 5:26, John 6:57, John 1:18, Hebrews 1:3, Revelation 3:14, Proverbs 8, Colossians 1. We could go on and on and on. This is not one isolated text. It's over and over and over again, this relationship that we see described, both between Jah and Jesus and the angels. He's better than them, not because he's a better spirit being in the sense that he's somehow eternal and better than them in that way. It says he's better because he's inherited a name. It doesn't even say that he inherently had the name. He was given the name, just like Philippians 2 says. He was given the name above every name. Well, who gave him that name? His Father. His Father gave him the name because he knows he can trust the Son, because the Son only does what the Father tells him. Who more could you trust than that? And that is why it is okay to acknowledge Jesus as God, even as Jah, because that's all he ever is. He's not himself. He's not doing his own will. So it is okay to acknowledge Jesus directly as Jah, as God. That's who he is when he's here. He's not himself. He's not trying to get you to follow his will apart from the Father. The Father trusts him completely. He's given him the name above every name. And in that sense, he's better than the angels. It says it right here. It's not me talking. I'm just repeating what is said. So I hope that is of some help to all of you. I know these issues come up, but we have texts here that directly called Jesus the firstborn. He introduced the firstborn into the inhabited world by allowing him to take on flesh through the body that he prepared for him as he was bringing the nation of Israel into the promised land.